All right, people, we're streaming on this channel right now. There was no sound because I had it muted. I'm just organizing myself over here. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Yeah, I had myself muted, and I'm gonna go and sort a few sort a few things out now, and just leave the stream running. I just saw Aloys Jr. get a KO. The Joker says Aloys Jr. got some serious power. Yeah. His personality is a bit weird though, you know? And I don't really care about, whether I like a fighter. I'm not trying to meet these people or be their friends. I'm just thinking about how their personality may impact their performances in the ring, the way they react to certain situations and what have you. And Aloys Jr. is a very excitable character, very excitable. And God, how did I describe him when I made a video about him on my main channel? He's one of these kind of people who exaggerates everything in his own mind. That's what he's like. He's a bit weird. And yeah, he exaggerates everything in his own mind. Yeah, his reaction was over the top, as Kay Sully said there, like way over the top. Like even Aloys Jr.'s last fight, which wasn't a very impressive performance, the way he celebrated after that fight, you'd think he just won the undisputed cruiserweight title. It's like, bro, you just beat some fringe contender and you're celebrating like it was undisputed. Like, calm down. Anyway, give me a sec. Be back in a moment. All right. I'm back and I'm situated. Hang on, why am I getting some kind of echo going on here? Sounds weird. All right. Hopefully I sound okay to you guys, but in my headphones, getting a slight echo. All right. What fight is up next on this show? Let me have a look here. The Bricktop Show. All right. The fight hasn't started yet. I guess it's, let me know in the live chat. Is it Lawrence Okoli next? Oh, it's Adeleye. Is it Okoli or Adeleye next? Corey says, what do you make of Okoli's weight? I mean, the guy started off working in McDonald's, and by the looks of him, he's gone back there. But as a customer this time, not as an employee. Dear, oh dear. He was 200 pounds last year. Now he's 260. He was about 220 for the Rosansky fight. And that was earlier this year, wasn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. The Rosansky fight was earlier this year. How the hell has this guy gained 40 pounds? In fact, let me look up when the Rosansky fight was. It was early this year sometime, I swear. Lawrence Okoli, let's have a look. Looking at his BoxRec page here. Yeah, the Rosansky fight was in May. So this guy has gained 40 pounds since May. I mean, maybe he was heavier than 220 on the night in the Rosansky fight. You know, maybe he boiled down or whatever and dehydrated himself for the weigh-in. But still, he weighed in like 223 against Rosansky. Now he's 261. That's damn near 40 pounds heavier. And he don't look like he's carrying the weight well either. So, yeah, I don't know what on earth is going on there with Lawrence Okoli. Why he's trying to come in like a blimp. I do not know what that's all about. I mean, the guy that he's fighting is around that same weight, right? Like 260. Is that what it is? He thinks he needs to match the guy for weight, like he knew who he was fighting long in advance. I mean, I can't imagine it's that. Okoli's always had kind of an odd, and the funny thing about it is, before I finish that thought, is before Lawrence Okoli started boxing, he was overweight. And part of the reason that he got into boxing was to lose weight. And now he's like back to square one. So yeah, I think it's way too heavy for him. I think that luxury living in Dubai is showing right now. A shout out to Free Kick. He says, hi, Hatman, been a fan for many years now. Fantastic boxing knowledge and a pleasure to listen to. Quick question. Have you ever... Oh my gosh, I'm not even going to answer that. That's a trolly question if ever I've read one. For such a weird question, gotta get man out of here. The Joker said he struggles to make Bridger. Well, he's gonna struggle to fit into his trousers. You know? He's gonna struggle to get through his door at this rate. Good God. Afro Soul says, for context, Okoli opened a restaurant in Dubai. Yeah, he did. But it's like he's eating his own food. He's eating out his own restaurant. They're going to end up broke at this rate. What's up, Fight Sport Talk? All the way from New Zealand. Afro Soul says, Hatman, who you got between Parrow and Hitchens? I honestly think Hitchens will safely outbox him to a UD. I need to have a closer look at Hitchens, to be fair. I haven't really been paying that much attention to him before I make my assessment. Shout out to Chili Beef. Corey says, Okoli looks like a younger version of my dad. But which version of Okoli? The slim version or the fat version? Leo O'Brien says, Hatman, who took a worse beating against Usyk? AJ or Fury? Fury took a worse beating, for sure. I mean, by far, Fury took a worse beating. But at the same time, Fury hurt Usyk when AJ never really hurt him. I mean, maybe in the first fight, he kind of bothered Usyk with a body shot and then a little bit in the second fight, but he never hurt Usyk with a headshot the way that Fury did. Afro Soul says, Okoli is the fattest vegan I know. Didn't he leave the vegan stuff alone? Because he was a vegan, right? But I'm not sure if he still is. I'm not sure if he's left that alone now. Or whether he's still, treading that path. When's this next fight going to start? It's just this endless commercial. So it's been going on for like 5 minutes. Maybe that's the, back in the days, was it after the 2008 crash? There was something called the credit crunch. Was that after 2008? But anyway, the credit crunch. What's going on right now in many countries is like the credit crunch, right? And you could say that the, these broadcasters are putting on more adverts. Obviously, it's the run up to Christmas as well. But these broadcasters are putting on more adverts due to the credit crunch. They're trying to make some money back, raising all their prices and everything. Chili Beef, this channel was not yet monetized. I need to start streaming more regularly on this channel to actually get it monetized, and that's why I'm doing this. It's my intention to stream a lot more regularly here so I can get this monetized as well. It's always good to have multiple YouTube channels monetized, not just the one, because the rug can get pulled out from under your feet real quick. Happens to creators all the time. Has happened to me before. Now, Corey says, the fat version, my dad is, in the 2000s was about 190 to 200 pounds. At his heaviest, he was about 275. And now he's about 230, but he's about 5'11". So has a bigger build. Nice one, Chili Beef. Big up every time. The Joker says, Okoli has such a strange build. Yeah, he's built like a cupboard. I always thought Lawrence Okoli was built like a cupboard. He's built like a cupboard. He's rectangular, isn't he? There's a full-on rectangle. But shout out to Lawrence Okoli, though. I like Lawrence. He's a good guy. If you've ever spoken to him, he's a good guy, Lawrence. He's a good guy. And as ugly as some of his performances are in the ring, horribly ugly. But as a person, in terms of the interactions I've had with him, he's actually a good guy. And a very reasonable guy, because you get a lot of crazy, sensitive people in boxing, but Lawrence Okoli is not one of them. He's a reasonable guy. Okay, here we go. Sol Dakers and Adeleye are up next. So let me get that box rec on the page here. There you go. Sol Dakers and David Adeleye. Oh, wow. Adeleye hasn't actually fought since the loss to Fabio Wardley. All right. So no rebuilding fight there. I mean, it was a long time ago, so, he's had a lot of time to process that loss. I know he switched trainers. He's with Adam Booth now. So it's going to be interesting to see if there were any stylistic differences for David Adeleye in this fight, because I read a bit of an interview with Adam Booth where he was talking about the conversations he's had with David Adeleye and the different styles they've tried. And when a fighter is as young as this, David Adeleye is, what is he, in his mid-20s, 25 or something like that? When a fighter's as young as this, you can experiment with their style because they're still trying to find themselves, right? So yeah, the Wardley fight was over a year ago. Wow. It was back in October 2023. Even longer ago than I remember. So yeah, he's had plenty of time to process that, make adjustments, and he's back against Dakers. I mean, coming back against Dakers, who's an unbeaten fighter, it's kind of more understandable given the fact that Dakers isn't really a puncher. You know, they're not throwing him back in there with another banger like Fabio Wardley. So let's see what happens with this. What do you guys reckon? How do you think this fight is going to go? You guys reckon Adeleye is going to take it, or will Sol Dakers manage to outbox him? What do you guys think in the chat? A shout out to G-Man. K. Sully says, Adeleye always reminds me of Dwayne Chambers for some reason. Yeah, he does look slightly like Dwayne Chambers. He does actually look a bit like him. Slightly, yeah, he does. Callum says this might be a stinker. The Joker says Adeleye's stoppage. All right. Let's see what he can do here. You know, Adeleye projects a lot of confidence. You know, he's very alpha, but he shrunk in the Wardley fight, didn't he? He shrunk in that fight. He didn't step up to the plate, and he looked kind of, you know, despite all the bravado before the fight and the altercation and all that, once he got in the ring with Wardley, he seemed hesitant. You know, he seemed like all the big talk outside the ring was just purely bravado, and he wasn't as confident in the ring. Anyway, here we go. About to start round one of this fight between Adeleye and Dakers. Let's see how this goes. Adeleye looks like he's ready to spring into action. He's got the blue, navy blue fly gloves on, the matching shorts. Sol Dakers in the white and black. Dakers a very cautious boxer. Let's see how it goes here. Round one. Adeleye straight on him with some body shots after a jab. Adeleye is, I think, listed at 6'4". He looks noticeably shorter here than Dakers. What's Dakers listed at? Dakers jabbing to Adeleye's body. Adeleye coming in with a lot of intent here. Again, probably because he knows Dakers ain't much of a puncher, but, you know, heavyweight, even a guy who's not supposed to be much of a puncher, if he catches you right, he can hurt you. So Adeleye can't be too reckless here, but he's fighting with his left hand low. Is that the Adam Booth influence? Adam Booth actually said, there's a nice jab there from Adeleye. See, he's throwing the jab from the hip like a David Haye, you know, and that Adam Booth style. Not like Adam Booth invented that, but a lot of his fighters fight that way. Josh Kelly, you know, David Haye, so on and so forth. And there are a lot of advantages to throwing the jab from the hip as opposed to, oh, wow. Great shot from Adeleye. Wow. Sol Dakers finished in the first round. Damn. What a performance. Oh my gosh. That was a great shot. What a fantastic shot from David Adeleye. Damn. That left hook was crazy. Yo, I need to see the slow-mo of that. Crazy shot. Just as I was trying to get into my analysis of his style adjustments, technique adjustments under Adam Booth, which you could see there with the low left hand and, yeah, going for more of a fast twitch style. Damn. Finished him with one left hook in the first round. Dacre's done. Damn, done his dance, man. Let's see the slow-mo. Man done his dance quick. Come on, TNT. Let's see the damn slow-mo replay. Stop making us wait. Let's see it. All right, here we go. Let's see. Bang! What a shot. Let's have a look from this angle here. He's got his left hand low and then springs and then catches him high on the temple. Yeah, that was a beautiful shot. That might be the best punch I've ever seen Adeleye land. What a shot. Yeah, that's very Adam Booth-esque, that left hook. You never saw Adeleye throwing shots like that before. That's definitely an Adam Booth-inspired punch, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. I noticed the differences right away in his style, the way he was holding his hand. And again, in the interview that I read with Adam Booth, he said that they were going to work on a more fast twitch style for David Adeleye, because before he was more like methodical, whereas the styles they were experimenting with, I guess they settled on the typical Adam Booth style. And at least for this fight against this opponent, it worked a treat. That was fantastic. Yeah, the Joker says got a bit of a David Haye stance now. Yep, the Adam Booth, David Haye stance. Indeed. That was over a lot quicker than I expected. Yeah, best punch I've seen him throw. Be interested to hear what Adam Booth has to say. I'm sure David Adeleye is pleased with himself, but I want to hear what Adam Booth has to say about it. If that was a punch they've been working on, it was like a Roy Jones lead left hook. Because Adam Booth's style, the style that he teaches most of his fighters, if not all of them, was really inspired by fighters like Roy Jones, mainly Roy Jones, really. Not like it's a carbon copy of the Roy Jones style, but it was inspired by it. So the Roy Jones style was taken as the basis of the Adam Booth style. And then Adam Booth tweaked it and took certain things away and added certain things to his liking, because Roy Jones was a freak athlete. Adam Booth likes working with very athletic fighters, fast twitch fighters, but there's only one Roy Jones. During Jones's prime, he was such an athletic freak that he could get away with things that 99% of other fighters can't get away with. And in fact, he wasn't able to get away with them later on in his career. Is that Adeleye's brother next to Adam Booth there? The one who floored Fabio Wardley? Is that him? Because I heard he's an MMA fighter or something. The one who was wearing the cap in that altercation on the red carpet. Welt says, Okoli working on achieving that Tyson Fury physique. Well, you know, everyone's got aspirations. Okay, we've got the the fake, the pound shop version of Ade interviewing Adeleye right now. Let's have a listen. Let me try to bring the sound in here if I can. Hopefully I don't catch a copyright. Okay. This is an interesting pairing, you know. I do find it interesting. Because here's the reason I find it an interesting pairing, right? Because the Adam Booth style is fast twitch. You need an athletic fighter to pull it off. But you also need an audacious fighter to pull it off. You need a fighter that has, you know, a certain personality type and a certain confidence about them. Yeah. And I don't think Josh Kelly and some of the other fighters that Adam Booth has been training really have that type of personality to pull that style off. You know, like a David Haye or even Groves. They had more like alpha type personalities, you know, more audacious personalities, because, you know, your boxing in the ring is really a reflection of your character. Your character reveals itself in the ring. So, yeah, I find it an interesting pairing, Adeleye and Adam Booth. And yeah, Adam Booth there saying that he's been working on Adelaye's balance. And he says his lead left hook is as hard as anything he's ever felt on the pads. And judging by what he did to Dakers with that left hook, that might not be hype. There's Bricktop talking now. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I forgot that Fabio Woodley's with Bricktop too. So he's got Adeleye and Fabio Woodley. Mm-hmm. Ocean Blue says, what's Fisheye saying? Not much. He's just blah, blah, blah. You know, just hyping up his fighters as you would expect a promoter to do. He's not saying anything interesting. All right, let's move on from this fight now. On to the next one. You see that Pound Shop Ade guy, yeah? He looks like he's got like plucked eyebrows or something. There's something just odd looking about him. Is it just me, or does that Pound Shop Ade look like he's got plucked eyebrows? You know, these broadcasters, they always try to copy each other's formula. And the formula right now is to have like a female lead presenter, because that's what Sky were doing with Anna Woolhouse. A female lead presenter who's anorexic, you know, because Anna Woolhouse is anorexic. And Malik Scott's wife, what's her name? Kate Scott. formerly Kate Abdo, she's anorexic too. So yeah, you got to get a female lead presenter. Then you got to get some like Nigerian guy to be like the roving reporter to go talk to the fighters and this and that. The British Nigerian guy, the dark skinned British Nigerian guy with a beard. That seems to be the formula that they're all trying to copy now. Or at least TNT is trying to copy it from the zone. So they've got the pound shop version of Ade. Fight Sport Talk says Malik Scott is with Kate Abdo. Yeah, he's married to Kate Abdo. They got married like, I think earlier this year. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's like the most random hookup ever. Malik Scott married to Kate Abdo. It's so weird. And now Kate Abdo is talking about actually fighting. Like doing a Misfits fight or something. Callum says Malik was dating a heavy woman doing OnlyFans not long ago. Yeah, I remember. I remember that like kind of chubby girl. And he was constantly posting like weird pictures on social media with him and that girl. It's just weird as hell. So he went from her to marrying Kate Abdo. It's so random. Yeah, let's see. The point I don't think I made in the live stream that I did yesterday is that with the extra weight, surely Lawrence is going to be a lot slower. And because he was already prone to clinching, now it could be even worse, right? 261 pounds. If he starts clinching at this weight against another big guy, I mean, it could be ugly as anything. Hopefully not. Hopefully he manages to keep it at a distance and get some good shots off. Fight Sport Talk says Okoli is about to fight like John Ruiz. Oh my gosh. That'd be horrible. John Ruiz is one of the ugliest styles you've ever seen. And there was a British fighter back in the days who actually came from kickboxing. It might be Muay Thai kickboxing or regular kickboxing, called Matt Skelton from Bedford, in Bedfordshire, obviously. Yeah, he had a terribly ugly style as well. In fact, did he fight John Ruiz? No, I think he fought Chagayev. I don't think he ever fought John Ruiz. But yeah, Skelton had a horribly ugly style too. Paul McAllister says, I remember when Okoli was British champion and Sky were first giving him a big push. He was absolutely dross viewing. Never thought he'd go on to have the great career he's had. Well, you know, early on in his career, he was knocking everybody out. Hang on, what is going on with my stream here? Okay, it froze. Yeah, early on, he was knocking everybody out. He was obviously an Olympian, I seem to remember. Yeah, he was an Olympian. He was knocking people out early. But then he had that fight with Isaac Chamberlain, which was horribly ugly. And that was when all the clinching began. It was from the Isaac Chamberlain fight. And so anyway, he got the win over Chamberlain. And then I remember him fighting Matty Askin, which was just shocking. In fact, he might have fought Luke Watkins. The Luke Watkins performance was actually pretty good. He wasn't hugging in that fight because Watkins didn't really try to close him down. You know, that's the reason that Lawrence Okoli hugs people, is because they try to close him down. When an opponent is willing to stand off and give him space, that's when Lawrence Okoli's comfortable. But when his opponent starts coming at him, closing him down, he feels uncomfortable and he just grabs him. Because he can't coordinate his arms quick enough to actually start throwing punches inside. So we'll just grab instead. Because some people look at Lawrence Okoli and they say, you know, why is he not throwing punches on the inside? Why is he grabbing instead of punching? He just doesn't have the coordination. That's the best way I can describe it. He doesn't have the coordination to do it. It's like Deontay Wilder. You know, why doesn't Wilder fight on the inside? Wilder doesn't have the coordination to fight on the inside. Have you ever seen Wilder throw an uppercut? It's few and far between. And when he does throw an uppercut, it looks so weird that you're like, okay, yeah, now I understand why you don't throw uppercuts. You know, sometimes these tall, lanky guys, the way that their bodies are configured in terms of the muscle in their body, their movement is somewhat restricted in terms of the punches they can throw because of the way their muscles are configured. You know, they're not as muscular as other fighters. It's like even Gerald McClellan, who I did a video about him and Julian Jackson on Patreon. Gerald McClellan wouldn't throw uppercuts. He was a tremendous puncher, a phenomenal puncher, one of the greatest middleweight punchers of all time, but you could probably count on one hand the amount of times that McClellan threw an uppercut. He just didn't throw uppercuts. His uppercuts didn't have any steam on them. So sometimes these skinny guys, not that Okoli's skinny now, but, well, he's still skinny underneath all that fat, if that makes sense. He hasn't gained loads of muscle, I don't think. Maybe there's a bit of muscle there and a lot of water weight and not a small amount of fat as well that's on him now compared to when he was 200 pounds last year. It's crazy. 60 pounds in a year. Weight increase. That is a madness. You know, it's like there's an old saying when fighters move up to heavyweight, just because you can weigh wherever you like, it doesn't mean you should weigh wherever you like. Do you know what I mean? Just because you can, it doesn't mean that you should. I forgot to switch the screen. Here we go. Lawrence Okoli versus Hussein Muhammad. Let's see how this goes. All right. So this Hussein Muhammad comes to the ring. Yeah, he definitely didn't pick that ring walk music. Ian Hamilton says, didn't Holyfield at his best weigh less than 220 when he moved from cruiserweight to heavyweight? You'd remember it best, didn't pack on the pounds. Yeah, he did. When Holyfield first moved up to heavyweight, he was under 210 pounds. Like when he fought Buster Douglas, when he challenged him for the heavyweight title, he was under 210 pounds. I don't think he broke 220 until very late in his career. He was always under 220. He was under 220 for all the Riddick Bowe fights. For the first Riddick Bowe fight, I think he was about 209 pounds. For the rematch, I think he was about 217 and maybe about 215 for the third fight. Against Lennox Lewis, he might have been 218 or so. Against Mike Tyson, he was about 217 first fight, 218 the second fight. So he was under 220 for the best years of his career. He was under 220. Kylie says, Okoli has become a competitive eater rather than a boxer. Yeah, it certainly appears so. KO says, this pound shop Ade talk is some hater business. Let the young brother shine. I just say what I see. Like catchphrase, bro. I just say what I see. Where's, is Joe Gallagher? Okay, yeah, Joe Gallagher's there. All right. Let's see how much of Okoli's performance against Rosansky was down to Joe Gallagher and how much of it was down to Rosansky just not being very good. Or at least Rosansky being a great fit for Lawrence Okoli's style. Because Rosansky had barely any amateur fights, as I understand it, if any. I don't think he either had very few or none. And the guy was damn near 40. Yes, he could have it a bit like some kind of Polish football hooligan. But in terms of getting in there against proper boxers, Rosansky was an accident waiting to happen. All right, this guy should be a pie. He should be a pie. Huh? Lawrence should be dealing with this guy. You know, I was watching a fight earlier on today. God, what fight was it? I think I was watching it was Lennox Lewis versus Tyrell Biggs, but it was the HBO version. And Larry Merchant was talking about Lewis wanting a tougher opponent than Tyrell Biggs. You know, this is when he spoke to Lewis. He said Lewis wanted a tougher opponent, but he said that his team were basically, you know, pulling him back a little bit. And Larry Merchant said words to the effect of, so my interpretation of what Lewis said was, Lewis wants to fight bums, but his team don't want him to fight anyone that dangerous. The way he dropped it was a lot more funny, but yeah. Commentary teams used to, you know, rib fighters a little bit. It wasn't all so serious as it is today. They used to have a little bit of fun, you know. All right, so here we go. Coming up to the first round of this Lawrence Okoli fight. Let's see what he can do here. 260 pounds, comes out with his hands up against Hussein Muhammad, vacant WBC silver. Wow. How did that happen? Okoli looking awkward, very upright style. His waistline is looking crazy here compared to what we're used to. You know, it's like his waistline just looks massive. Lawrence got the long socks on. All right, he's moving about, trying to get his right hand off. Club into the body. Oh! Really going for it with a right hand against this Muhammad guy who is trying to stand with Lawrence and bang back. I can't believe how big Lawrence Okoli looks. It looks so awkward. All right, chopping right hand from Lawrence Okoli. Muhammad complaining it was behind the head. Okoli's still bouncing up and down like he's 200 pounds, but he weighs 260. Now his chest is jiggling. This just looks weird to me. I'm thrown off. Are you not thrown off by the way Lawrence Okoli looks here? It just looks so odd. I mean, he's fighting aggressively, to be fair, as you would hope against this guy. But will he start to slow down rather quick, carrying all that weight? Goes with a jab to the body. Again, Okoli fighting very upright. His face even looks massive, looks bloated. Oh, massive right hand. Wow. Lays the guy out. Great shot from Lawrence Okoli. Caught him coming in. Wow. That was a great shot. Okoli puffing his chest out. The guy manages to beat the count. I thought he was done. Nah. Referee waves it off. Well, as weird as that looked, it worked. That looks so weird. He got the job done. The Joker says Okoli's last 2 fights have been pretty good. Yeah. The Rosansky fight was exciting. K. Sully says, back to the Lebanese grill, buddy. Yeah, the opponent was definitely a pie, you know. He got stopped in a couple rounds by Kosobutsky. So, yeah, pie. But nevertheless, he was still in there, Lawrence against the legitimate heavyweight, and he put the shots together, as weird as it looked, and he got him out of there. You know, I just can't get over how weird Lawrence looks at this size. Like his waistline is like the circumference of the earth, and it just looks mad. And his style looks even more weird now. You know, he's always had an awkward style, but with this extra weight on, like hopping up and down, the whole thing just looks wrong. The whole thing looks so wrong. But, you know, if it works, isn't it? The long socks as well. Yeah, the long socks added to the whole weirdness of it. All right, let's see some slow-mo replay here. Now that Marcus Morrison's in his corner. Okay, so here's Lawrence here. Jab into the body, set up the right hand to the head, and it was a great shot, the way he walked him onto the right hand. Crack. It was a very good counter, very good shot. Obviously, his opponent left himself terribly open. The way he threw the shots. And yeah, very, very good punch by Lawrence Okoli with 260 pounds behind it. Doing damage. Paul Dempsey says that Okoli's natural athletic reaction there was breathtaking. You know, a bit hyperbolic, but yeah, considering the size of him, the weight that he's come in at, it was quite surprising that he was able to get shots off that fast. But again, the opponent was horrible. And one thing I'll always give Lawrence Okoli credit for is the fact that he's always tried to take on good opposition. From early on in his career, he's been one of these guys who's been going after tough opposition. He went after all the top cruiserweights on the domestic UK scene. When he got up to the world level, or, you know, he went through European level. Then when he got up to world level, he was trying to fight people and whatever. So I give him credit for that. And even since moving up to heavyweight, he's been calling out big names. Now, calling out big names is very different to fighting big names. So we'll see whether he's willing to follow up with the call outs. But yeah, he's always, so far in his career, been somebody that's willing to fight tough opposition. There's Joe G, happy with his charge. I'm just listening to what Steve Bunce is saying. Steve Bunce is saying here. Yeah, Steve Bunce overhyping it to high hell. This conversation is so dead between Steve Bunce and the wee man, Carl Frampton, and this female presenter. This is such dead analysis. Boring. Waved says, who is Lawrence Okoli's nutritionist? Ian says, who can Lawrence realistically fight at heavyweight? I'd say Dylan White, but will Dylan White want to lose that one? I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it as well. Okay. Listen to Joe G now. What's he got to say for himself? Mm-hmm. I mean, so far so good for Lawrence Okoli and Joe G. I'm still getting that weird sound in my I'm still getting that weird sound from my microphone. I don't know what's up here. I'm looking at the settings in this thing. If I left something on, some kind of processing effect, so voice sounds processed somehow. I mean, there is processing on as in like a compressor and de-esser, but something sounds weird, like there's a doubling effect on or something. Anyway, yeah, so far so good for Lawrence Okoli and Joe G, but they haven't fought anyone yet. And I'm, being as respectful as I can about Rosansky, but he weren't any good. So the first real test for Okoli and Joe G is still to come. Yeah, it was like with AJ and Ben Davison. I made a video talking about how the Dubois fight was their first real test or first major test. And of course, there were some AJ fanboys who came back in the comments talking about, nah, what are you on about? Wallen was a major test. No. Wallen wasn't a major test because AJ was too familiar with him for it to be a major test. It sparred with him countless rounds. And by all accounts, AJ had got the better of it over and over again in the gym, to such an extent that Richie Woodall said that he got the impression from watching the spars that AJ was actually having to hold back and carry Otto Wallen in a lot of those spars. So, we'll see what happens when Okoli actually fights somebody with a pulse at heavyweight. Then we'll see whether this union with Joe Gallagher's really working or not. Corey says, might sound a bit harsh, but I want to see Okoli fight Miller just to see how he is at this weight. CXL says, Lawrence has always looked odd from a biomechanics point of view. Yeah, he always has. He always has looked odd from a biomechanics point of view. Biomechanical. Callum says, Okoli will be on the Saudi cards next year, surely. Yeah, he has to be because he's with Bricktop. He's trained by Joe Gallagher, who has some type of gym over there in the Middle East. Is it in Saudi or is it in Dubai? The Joe Gallagher Mike Tyson gym. I think it's in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. It's in one of the Middle Eastern countries. And presumably that's where Lawrence does all his training because he lives out there and runs his restaurant out there. Ocean Blue says Okoli needs to fight someone decent, not out of a shawarma joint. I wonder what the shawarmas are like in Lawrence Okoli's restaurant. Presumably they make shawarmas there, right? Like, is there a single restaurant in Dubai that doesn't have shawarma on the menu? I lived in Dubai, right? So. Okay, Callum says Tyson Gym is in Saudi. Okay. Well, it's all close enough. CXL says, swear Okoli lives in Middle East, didn't know that. Yeah, he lives in Dubai. Lives in Dubai. The Ocean Blue says maybe the European places. I think even the European places sell shawarma in Dubai. Damn near everywhere sells shawarmas there. There was one place when I was out there that was like, I think it was called Shawarma Express. It's literally like McDonald's, but the shawarma version of McDonald's. It's like, the same type of, vibe that you would get in a McDonald's. You know the way McDonald's are, with the shiny exterior, and you go inside and it's all laid out the way McDonald's is laid out. And yeah, this place was called Shawarma Express. It was like a chain. Shawarma Express. And that's not where you get the best shawarmas, by the way. Black Dynamite says, Okoli is built like a rectangle with arms. Yeah, I was saying that early on. Man's built like a cupboard. I always felt like he's literally built like a cupboard. but shout out to Lawrence again, man. Lawrence a good guy. But yeah, man, he's built like a cupboard. All right, what fight is up next? We've seen Aloys Jr. I guess it's Pauls versus Bentley now, right? That must be the fight up next. Must be Pauls versus Bentley. So let's get, unless there's something in between, but let's get that on the screen here. Brad Pauls, Denzel Bentley. So Denzel Bentley has lost some fights recently. Okay, yeah, he lost to Nathan Heaney. Then Nathan Heaney lost to Brad Pauls. And now Bentley fights Heaney. So they got a little triangle thing going on. Let's see if Bentley can beat Pauls. Pauls actually stopped Heaney. I don't think I saw that fight. Okay, that was his last one. So he stopped the guy who beat Denzel Bentley on points. What do you guys reckon in this Brad Pauls Denzel Bentley fight? Who's going to win this one? The Ocean Blue says not sure. Dog's Bollock says Bentley. Wave says watch Charr versus Pulev, bro. You must hate me if you want me to watch that fight. You must hate me if you're trying to subject me to that. Manuel Charr boxing is a crime against humanity. That's what it is. Manuel Charr in a boxing ring is a crime against humanity. These days, anyway. I mean, back in the days, okay, he was like a soul contender. But for at least the past decade, him boxing is just a shocker. Ian Hamilton says it's a floater boat that's next. I'm telling you, it's a crime against humanity for this guy to be in the ring fighting. Oh, no. Who can watch that guy? The Zombie Dome says, Charr is coming off a great KO win versus Chris Lovejoy. I swear that win was like 2 years ago, wasn't it? When he beat Chris Lovejoy? That must have been like 2 years ago. Good God, man. That's and that Chris Lovejoy has got a damn nerve to still be talking trash after he got weighed in by Manuel Charr. What a cheek he's got to still be acting like he's legit. I mean, I know the guy's got a hustle to make a living, but good God, man. You get chinned by Manuel Charr in a round and you're still out here acting like Billy Big Potatoes. Come on, bro. What is it that people like about Charr? Is it the fact that he's got this, like, you know, cocky, confident attitude? I don't know what it is, bro. I'm tired of the guy. I remember one time he fought in some backwater somewhere. I forget the opponent. Was it a German guy? I forget who the opponent was. But anyway, Charr knocked the guy out in one round, yeah? And after the fight, like Charr got a bunch of these other people in the ring. I don't know whether they were family members or who they were, yeah? But I swear down, Charr, in this backwater arena somewhere, he got all these other people in the ring. And they like sat down. And I swear they were drinking like Arabic tea and stuff like that in the ring. You know, they put one of them like, you know, Arabic rugs down and they were having tea. I'm not sure if somebody had a shisha pipe out, but it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. First of all, they were doing some dancing in the ring after he knocked out some bumming around. And then they got all this stuff in the ring. It's so weird. I swear down they might have had a shisha pipe in there in the middle of the ring because they stayed in the ring for ages. Like after the fight, they must have stayed in the ring for like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes after the fight, sitting down on a rug with, I've never seen anything like it. I'm amazed that Manuel Charr has continued. See, Manuel Charr is the new Freza Kendo. Yeah. A PSK says it was a Persian thing they did in the ring, right? Not as far as I'm aware, because Manuel Charr is Syrian, isn't he? He's a Syrian. I think he's like half Lebanese, half Syrian. I think that's what he is. So, yeah. Lost my train of thought now. What was I going to say? K. Sully says, why does he call himself Manuel? His name is Mahmoud. I think it's just for the German audience to make it easier for them to say, because a lot of fighters, foreign fighters used to do that. They would change their names or alter their names to anglicize it So, for example, Andrew Galota, his name is not Andrew, but the Polish version, which I guess is like Andrzej, or however they pronounce it in Polish. But he changed it to Andrew to anglicize it, so people can understand it. The same with a Nigerian fighter back in the days who lost to David Tua. He was actually an Olympian called David Izonrite, but he changed his surname for the American market to David Izon to make it easier for them to say, rather than Izonrite. Black Dynamite says, Charr is a reminder of the Klitschko era. He carries that stench with him. He does indeed. He does indeed. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. That's the thought that I wanted to finish. Oh my gosh. Ethan says Ibeabuchi fights tonight. Don't forget. I hope that fight's not being screened live anywhere. That's in some backwater in Nigeria. Ibeabuchi is still crazy as a box of frogs even now. I mean, hardly surprising, right? He did best part of 20 years inside and he was crazy when he went in. So he's not going to be any less crazy when he comes out, is he? Going to be probably worse. Yeah, so basically Manuel Charr is the new oh, hang on, has the fight started? Look at me, I'm not even paying attention to the boxing here. Has the fight started yet? Or what fight is this? This guy looks like he smokes cigarettes. Looking at his face. Okay, yeah, I don't care about it. I don't know who these guys are, nor do I care. These guys look like some generic bricktop geezers. This guy with Royal in his shorts looks like he smokes cigarettes. That's what his face looks like. He has the face of a guy who you might pass in the train station who asks you for a cigarette and you're like, I don't smoke, mate. Yeah, so what's the guy called now? Frezakendo. So this Puerto Rican guy, Frezakendo, was he held some version of the WBA belt back in the days. And I can't even remember how he lost it, right? But he eventually lost the WBA belt that he had. I know he lost to David Tua and, whatever. But he eventually lost his belt. And then he became some kind of like mandatory for the WBA. And yet he wasn't getting his shot. And the mandatory was going on for like years and years and years, where he said, no, I'm mandatory for the regular WBA belt. And Frezakendo wouldn't let it go. The guy was like damn near 50. And he was still talking about he wants his shot. And it got to the point where he hadn't fought in like 5 years. And somehow he still had some type of legal claim to get this WBA title shot. And I was like, bro, let it go. You're damn near 50. It was incredible the way he wouldn't let it go. And then Manuel Charr basically replaced him as the guy way past his sell-by date who wouldn't let go of this WBA regular belt. Very, very weird. So Akendo eventually let it go, but then Charr took the baton from him. Chili Beef says, Hatman, have you managed to start the Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer remastered yet? I have not. I have not managed to start that yet. So much on my plate right now. It's, as you get older, it's a weird thing. Time speeds up. There's never enough hours in the day to even do the basics. How do people become billionaires, How do they find enough hours in the day to get that rich? I'm not sure. Black Dynamite says spiritual reincarnation. Same with Woody Harrison to David Price. And, you know, talking about spiritual stuff, the Lennox Lewis curse. Now, one thing I forgot about is before the first Usyk Fury fight, Holyfield went to Usyk's dressing room. You guys remember that? Holyfield went to his dressing room. And Lennox Lewis was there too. Did Lewis go to Fury's dressing room? Because Lewis and Fury have known each other, you know, a long time. Did Lennox Lewis go to Tyson Fury's dressing room before the first Usyk fight? Or did Tyson Fury try to block him from coming in? Because he knows about the Lennox Lewis curse. Yeah, Isaac said, I said this thing when I saw the photo of Usyk and Lewis. Yeah. Somebody posted that in my Element group. And I was like, uh-oh. It's like Lennox Lewis is, I'm not even going to say he's the new Drake. He's like the boxing version of Drake. Because he assisted David Price for his rematch with Tony Thompson, and it went horribly wrong. Then he came in and tried to assist Fraser Clark, and it went horribly wrong. Did he go into the corner, or excuse me, did he go into the dressing room of Tyson Fury before the Usyk fight? If he did, then wow, maybe this Lennox Lewis curse is a real thing. Ocean Blue says, I think Hayes picking Usyk. Well, there you go. See? Usyk's fate might be sealed if David Hayes picking him to win. Good God. Yeah. Black Dynamite says he was giving Wilder some pointers as well, but this was long before Fury. Yeah, I remember that. He was throwing Deontay Wilder. He was showing Deontay Wilder how to throw a jab. CXL says the trifecta of doom. Yup. Lennox Lewis, Drake, and David Hay. That is the trifecta right there. So, at the very least, Usyk needs to stay the hell away from Drake. He needs to get a restraining order on Drake right now. Because anyhow he comes into contact with Drake, or anyhow Drake bets on him, then yeah, it could be curtains. Liam Chain says, why you made a second channel, Hatman Blood? Because it's always good to have a backup channel. Yeah. Channels can get YouTube channels get zapped all the time. All the time. Yeah. I've had a channel zapped before. Completely demonetized. So you should never just have one channel. I've really been neglecting this channel. I should have been doing a lot more content here to get it monetized. You should always have not even just one. You should have multiple channels. Really and truly. Yeah, multiple channels. Certainly multiple streams of income if you're a creator, not just one channel, different platforms, all that type of stuff. To put all your eggs in one basket is foolish. So yeah, all the creators who have any sense will have other channels and other streams of income and won't just put everything into one channel. That's just foolish. I mean, there's a channel that I saw recently called I first saw his videos maybe a couple years ago. He's one of these guys who goes around traveling to different countries and whatever. He's a Black American guy called Check in Effect. And his channel just got zapped, like demonetized. I think he managed to get it remonetized. Oh no, hang on. Did he get demonetized, or did they say they were going to close his channel down on the 3-strike copyright rule? I think he got demonetized, and then they said they were going to close his channel down. Yeah, and he didn't have he had his channel way bigger than mine. He had like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and all his eggs were in that one basket. And so when they zapped his channel, he was like, "Oh my gosh, didn't know what he was going to do. He was asking for donations and this, that, and the other. That happens to creators all the time. And trust me, YouTube don't care. So they don't care. So it's never a good idea to only have one channel monetized. Like, get as many channel monetized as you can. Liam says you could make a Hatman Clips channel, plenty of funny content in these lives. Yeah, I'd have to employ someone to do that for me. Because really what I want to do is make this the live channel. That's why it's called Hatman Boxing Live. Make this the live channel for all the live streams once I get it monetized. And then the other channel will be for the standard videos. So lives here and standard videos there. That's the way I'll split it up. There you go. Fight Sport Talk is an example. He says, I'm definitely going to be more careful after I almost lost my channel. Yeah. Dominic A says, Hatman podcast channel, where I do podcast stuff on Patreon. That's where I've diversified that area. Any podcasty stuff, video analysis, non-boxing content, that's all on my Patreon. That's been running for, God, what, 5 years now or more on Patreon. Got a good community over there. Ethan says, who you got, Pauls or Bentley? I don't think I've seen Pauls fight, you know. I'm not 100% sure if I've seen him fight. Now, Black Dynamite says, YouTube Shorts is definitely the way to go. I did a couple of YouTube Shorts on my main channel, and the revenue is terrible. Like, the revenue is like much lower than a normal video. At least it was when I did those, because I go into my analytics and I look at everything. And so when my channel, you know, unlocked the ability to have shorts or whatever, I did a few YouTube shorts and they got, you know, a few thousand views, but the revenue compared to a normal video was terrible. Damn, is that how long the Patreon's been? Since 2017. See, it's even longer than I thought. The Isaac says, will you still do post-fight preview on the fights? Post-fight preview? I guess you mean review. Yeah, but like I say, I'll split it up on the other channel will have all the post-fight reviews, the pre-recorded videos. This channel will just be lives. That's all this channel is going to be, just lives. Although I might upload a few videos to this channel because you have to meet certain criteria to get monetized. Like you have to upload a certain amount of videos. But once I get monetized, this channel will just be live streams and nothing else. And the other channel will just be pre-recorded videos, you know, post-fight reviews, predictions, boxing news, and all that type of stuff. This channel will just be lives. Okay, the fight is over then. The guy that looks like he smokes cigarettes in a train station, has he won? Look at his face, bro. He looks like way older than he probably is. What's this guy's name? I don't even have the sound on here. Let me listen. What's this guy called? George Crotty. See what I was saying earlier? You can just tell by somebody's name whether they're going to go anywhere in boxing. Will a man called George Crotty go anywhere in boxing? You're cursed by that name. You need a ring name, bro. That name doesn't have the energy of success. So find a good ring name, adopt it, and then you might have a better chance of going somewhere. But George Crotty? No. No, that's not going to work. All right, so Nathan Heaney is picking Denzel Bentley to win. Is that what he genuinely thinks, or is that wishful thinking? Because Paul's stopped him. Does he really think that, or is it wishful thinking? Yeah, K. Sully, the Partridges were wise to change it to Fury. They did a good job. And Luke was wise to change it to Tyson, to take his middle name and change it to his first name. Because Luke, nah, that doesn't have the ring of success about it in boxing. So, yeah. Payne Remains says the guy was a Royal Marine. Oh, okay. That's why he has kind of a grizzled look about him then. For Lattergate says, Okoli versus a Jagba. Not sure if this has been covered, but sounds like it's a good fight. Yeah, I covered it in a live stream on my main channel a week or so ago. In fact, I did I do an actual video about it? I might have done a video about it, but I definitely covered it in a live stream and talked about it a bit. I think that it's going to be pretty one-sided, to be honest. I think Okoli's going to run right through F.A. Jagba. I was far more interested in seeing a Jagba against Zhang, but Zhang decided to swerve that fight and take on Kabayel instead. And, I like Zhang, but he was talking absolute BS in an interview that I saw earlier on today when they asked him why he didn't fight Okoli. And he said, well, I never got an offer to fight Okoli. You're talking about you never got an offer to fight Okoli. You were mandated by the IBF to fight him. There was a purse bid, which you pulled out of. It's not about offers. The IBF literally said, okay, bam, purse bid. And Zhang was like, nah. I mean, I don't think Zhang would be afraid to fight Okoli, but I just don't think that his promoter, Frank Warren, wants him to do it. I think his promoter, Frank Warren, I suspect, has done some type of deal with Kabayel. And that's why Zhang Kabayel's happening for the WBC interim heavyweight title. Yeah, I think Okoli will walk straight through a Jagba. Ocean Blue says, is the fight actually happening? Well, it hasn't been signed yet, but Bob Arum seemed to indicate that a Jagba would be willing to go through the fight. So we'll see. A Jagba can punch. He's definitely got that about him. He's got a tremendous right hand. And I have to say, he'll be the hardest puncher that Okoli has fought so far as a pro. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that. But be that as it may, I don't think a Jagba's going to be able to put up much serious resistance. I think Okoli's going to go in there behind a heavy jab. He's going to start slinging the big shots as he normally does, clubbing away, and poor Jagba is going to get bludgeoned in about 5 or 6 rounds, I reckon, if he even lasts that long. Because he's just too slow to get out of the way. A guy who's that upright, like a Jagba, who can't get out of the way because he's like a statue the way he fights. At least with what's the French guy called who Okoli beat, the Olympic gold medalist? I forget his name now. Yoka. Yoga. Yoka. Yeah, Tony Yoka. At least with Yoka, he could move. Yeah, Yoka's always had like decent foot speed, so he could move around, and he managed to last the distance with Okoli. A Jagba doesn't have any foot speed. He's like a potted plant, and he's just gonna stand there while Okoli comes in like bloody Idi Amin, African dictator with the pot belly and all, you know, with an iron fist, crushing all his rivals with merciless efficiency. So, yeah, I don't like F.A. Jagba's chances in that fight. Okoli's gonna come in like Idi Amin. The Celtic magician says, "Who you got, Okoli or Razor Ruddock?" Probably Okoli. Yeah, probably Okoli, to be honest. I never really rated Razor Ruddock that highly. I mean, he was dangerous. He was a dangerous fighter, but he was technically very limited. Very, very technically limited. Didn't have a great defense. He had a big heart. He could punch with the left hand. He was athletic, but he was very easy to hit. He was pretty much one-handed. He just threw the left hook. He just spammed it. Left hook / left uppercut. He called it the smash. He just used to spam that punch. You know, he'd throw a few jabs here and there, but for the most part, it was just left hook, left hook, left hook, left hook, left hook, spamming it. His right hand really wasn't up to much. I mean, the only time I remember him doing damage with his right hand was against Tommy Morrison. He dropped Morrison with a right uppercut, but Morrison never had a great chin. But other than that, there was no right hand to speak of. I mean, he did throw it here and there, but there was nothing on it. It was all just spamming the left hook and trying to take people's heads off. And, you know, he had some success beating some old guys. But, yeah, who did Razor Ruddock ever beat? Other than a bunch of old guys. You know, he beat Bone Crusher Smith when he was damn near 100 years old. Mike Dokes when he was past it. Razor Ruddock really never beat anybody. His claim to fame was going the distance with Mike Tyson in the second fight. Obviously, the first fight was stopped by the standards of the day, controversially. But today, people wouldn't even see that as particularly controversial. But, yeah, I'd probably go with Okoli, to be honest. I think he's a bit more well-rounded than Razor Ruddock and would probably exploit Ruddock's very poor defense. Not that Okoli's got a great defense, but Ruddock had a horrible defense. Okay, Solly says, I want to see some boxers representing my people. The Nigerians are in their bag. What flag is that? Sierra Leone? Tell me that's the Sierra Leone flag. Okay, Sierra Leone. Yeah, I dated a girl from Sierra Leone way back in the days. She was from the Kru tribe or ethnic group, KRU. Yeah, she was from Freetown. Okay, so what is this here now? Sam Noakes. I'm not interested in this fight. I hope it ends early. Getting weird stuff happening to my stream again for a second. Okay, now it's back. Yeah, not interested in this fight. Isaac says the crew are of African American origins. Okay, that makes sense because the Sierra Leonean girl who I dated, she had like you know, a European surname. So I guess she would have been one of the, she was descended from the Africans who were taken to the Americas, spent some time there, obviously as slaves, and then were shipped back and dumped in Sierra Leone and Liberia. So you're saying the crew are those people? Okay. Ben says, looks like super chat is turned off. This channel is not yet monetized. That's why there's no super chat. I'm trying to get it monetized. In order to do so, I have to start putting content up here. So that's what I'm trying to do. A shout out to Ben every time. In fact, let me get the channel graphics right here. There we go. Black Dynamite says, is it still minimum 4,000 subscribers? No, you don't need that many subscribers to get monetized. You don't need that many subscribers. I've got enough subscribers. It's just I haven't, been uploading frequently enough. You have to upload frequently and get a certain amount of views in a particular time period. And when you get that amount of views in that particular time period, then and a certain amount of uploads in a particular time period, then you can apply for monetization. So yeah, I need to do that. Ben says, what do you think of Fury's pick yesterday? I think he looks solid and strong. I'm not sure which pick you're referring to. Which pick is it? Yeah, CXL's got it right there. 4,000 hours of watch time in a year and 1,000 subs. There you go. Yeah, I really don't buy into any pictures of Tyson Fury training in terms of, oh, he looks strong. Because I remember going into the first Usyk fight, people were posted, oh, Fury's ripped to shreds now and he's got all these muscles and he's this and that and blah, blah, blah. And then, he turns up at the actual fight and he still looks like a popped balloon. Even though he was, significantly lighter than he's been for several years. Like Fury always looks like how did somebody describe him? Like 300 pounds of chewed bubble gum or something. That's how Fury always looks. Ben says it was him and 4 other people, including Sugar. Okay, I guess it's on his Instagram page. Let me have a look. Kylie says he always looks like a bag of milk. Yeah, he always looks like chewed bubble gum. Thomas Leonard says Fury looks 280. Yeah, I'm expecting him to come in around that weight in the mid 270s to low 280s. I'm expecting around there. So much heavier than last time. Matt says prior to the comeback, his body was proportioned so differently. Fury's body just looks weird now. I think his body's always looked weird, but extra weird now because everything's sagging. When you're younger, your fat doesn't sag because your skin is tighter. So now he's old and his skin is looser. His fat all like sags down. So he just looks like proper decrepit now. That's Father Time for you. Is unkind. I'm going on to Tyson Fury's page here, which I really don't like doing on his Instagram page. And and he's perversely got "I love Jesus," which I never understand. The guy tells that many lies and lives such an unchristian life. "I love Jesus" is very weird. Okay, here's the picture of Tyson Fury flexing as hard as possible after a training session. Yeah, I don't think he looks that solid. I think, he's probably just pumped. He's pumped a few weights on the weights bench to try and swell his muscles up, and then he's flexing as hard as he possibly can with his arms in the way of his big belly. Nah, he's still a big fat guy. I don't really buy into these things. Fury's still going to come in looking like a tub of lard, but he can still fight, the size of a tub of lard. And he was always going to come in heavy for this fight. He was always going to come in heavy. George says, would you consider starting an Instagram page with clips from your channel? I think it'd do well. Stuff like that is so time consuming. I need to learn how to do that with AI or something, because it's so time consuming doing all that. A lot of people don't realize how long it actually takes to make videos. It's like how Matchboxing was saying, and it's so true, that sometimes people think a 10-minute YouTube video takes 10 minutes to make, but actually it can take hours to make it. Going through all the different articles to get screenshots of all the different bits of text, and then putting that together, editing all the audio. I mean, it can take like a couple hours to make a 10-minute video, right? So then on top of that, you're going to go into your own videos and start looking for little clips, and then it's just very time consuming. So if I could find a way to do it with AI, they could save me time, then I might consider it. Other than that, I just don't have the time. Black Dynamite says a lot of YouTubers outsource the editing work to India or Pakistan. Yeah, on Fiverr, right? On Fiverr. But the thing is, with my videos, you need a lot of knowledge, boxing knowledge of the story to put the kind of visuals in the video that I would want. So I don't think some random guy from Pakistan could actually do that. They're used to editing people that appear on screen, that kind of stuff, which is fairly straightforward. But when you're putting like, screenshots of fights and news clips from different boxing stories and box rec records and tweets from accounts and all this type of stuff, I don't think some random Indian guy on Fiverr could really help me with that. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my perception. Ben says, if Fury lands the same shots on Usyk as in the first fight, but 20 pounds heavier, do you think Usyk can take those shots? Oh, it remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. Will Fury tire more quickly with the extra weight? Will he be slower and therefore easier to hit? And not just easier to hit, but will he be slower, therefore find it more difficult to hit Usyk? Because in the first fight, Tyson Fury got hit a lot more than Usyk got hit. And that's ultimately why he lost, particularly with high impact punches. There is a alternative to CompuBox called Jabber, and they actually did the punch stats for TNT. In fact, I think it was for all the broadcasters, but certainly TNT in the first fight used Jabber for their punch stats. And their punch stats are AI assisted. And yeah, Fury actually threw more punches than Usyk overall, but he landed significantly less particularly high impact punches, punches that do damage. So Fury needs to address why his accuracy was so poor and why, despite throwing more, he landed a lot less. And so coming in heavier, the way he chooses to box is really going to be make or break for him. Because coming in big, you can't be boxing on the back foot, trying to fiddle your way through the fight. Because you probably get stopped. Yeah. Fury, with the extra weight, has to be assertive with it. You can't just have extra weight and try and fight on the back. That don't make no sense. You have to come in and be assertive and try and, push Usyk around with the extra weight. All right, when's this fight going to end? When's this fight over? Who the hell are these guys on DAZN? I just switched over to the DAZN stream. Who the hell are these commentators? They're a couple of old guys. How is there even people in this arena? The main event is not Charr versus Pulev, is it? Because he got like quite a lot of people in this arena. That can't be right. Unless it's in Bulgaria. Is this fight in Bulgaria? WBA World Heavyweight Championship. Good God, man. This fight can't be. If this fight's in Bulgaria, that's the only way you could explain there actually being a crowd there of more than 50 people. If the fight's in Bulgaria. Let's have a look here. Yeah, it is in Bulgaria. Okay, that's why. Yeah, because Kubrat Pulev is quite the celebrity in Bulgaria, him and his wife. I'm not sure if he's still married to her, but yeah, they were like a celebrity couple for the longest time in Bulgaria. Yeah, there you go. Sofia, Bulgaria. Pulev is from Bulgaria. Charr is from Syria. Charr's from like Syria, Lebanon, based in Germany. Pulev is Bulgarian. Yeah, this Pulev Charr show looks so dead. The commentators are just some washed old randoms, and yeah, this whole thing looks awful. I'm not sure which is worse. This bricktop fight right here, or what's going on with the Charr Pulev situation. That's going to be an awful fight, by the way. Manuel Charr versus Kubrat Pulev is going to be awful. It's an awful mix of styles. It's going to be an awful fight. Two guys who are like in their 40s. Kubrat Pulev is 43. And Manuel Charr is 40. Good God, man. This is Mammo Charr's first fight in nearly 3 years. No, 2 years, excuse me. His first fight in 2 years. Pulev actually fought. Oh, he fought Igor, that guy who Okoli knocked out in about 2 or 3 rounds. Pulev won a UD over Igor in March of this year. He's had 2 wins since the Chisora defeat back in 2022, which was a very close fight. But yeah, this is going to be awful. I just want this current fight to be over with on Bricktop Show so we can get on to the main event, which might actually be quite interesting. Black Dynamite says Usyk's manager was involved with this Charr versus Pulev. You talking about Klimas? Klimas looks so sinister, doesn't he? Why does that guy look like he's a Russian mob or something? Klimas. I swear I read somewhere that Klimas had actually been to prison in the United States. He'd been to the feds or something. Klimas. Klimas looks like somebody you don't want to cross. It looks like he knows some guys, you know. Leo says fantasy matchup: Malik Scott versus Audie Harrison. That's not a fantasy matchup. That's a nightmare matchup. There's nothing fantasy about that. That's a nightmare. But I would pick Audley to beat Malik Scott, to be fair. CXL says, Hatman, what do you think about Boxer doing those face-offs and gloves are off episodes in lodges? I thought that was mad shifty. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? That they keep doing those things in Masonic lodges. I mean, Ben Shalom and his little buddy, Savage Dan. And I always wonder, why is he called Savage? You know? Weird. But yeah, him and that Savage Dan, I've always thought the pair of them are mad shifty. Mad shifty. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're both in the lodge. Savage Dan and Ben Shalom. Because how in God's name did Ben Shalom, some, obscure promoter who done a couple of small hall shows and nobody'd ever heard of him. I'd never heard of him. And somehow he gets this massive Sky contract. How the hell does that happen? You know how many small hall promoters there are that are well established over decades, that have got a track record in their business, and they never got the call up to get the Sky contract, but somehow Ben Shalom comes in his 20s, a small hall promoter nobody's ever heard of, and he gets this massive contract. How the hell does that happen? Never seen anything like it before in my life. Now people say, oh, well, Eddie Hearn got a Sky contract. Yeah, but Barry Hearn was already with Sky. So you could see, his dad was already working with Sky, doing the darts and the snooker, and they had a long relationship with them going back years. And even when Eddie Hearn got the contract with Sky, it was only to do small shows. They didn't give him a big budget. Yeah? It was just to do little shows. And what did Eddie Hearn start off doing? Prize Fighter. Yeah? And was just rinsing Prize Fighter every month. He never had no big budget to do big shows. It wasn't until Carl Froch, he started working with Carl Froch. And because of Froch's success, they started giving Hearn a bit more money. Yeah? But with Ben Shalom, he literally comes out of nowhere with no track record, and he gets a massive multi-million-pound contract. Never seen anything like that before in my life. Never in my life. Oh wow, G-Man says I got a DM from an Xboxer PR guy who mentioned something to me about the lodge. What was he? Was he asking if you're in the lodge? Was was he asking if you want to join the lodge? Is that what it was? Be interesting, right? Black Dynamite says Ben Shalom is only 27 as well. Yeah, 27 now. If he's 27 now, how young was he when he got that contract? I have never seen anything like that before in my life, bro. I've been watching boxing since the 80s. Okay, he's 30 now. So I guess he would have got the contract when he was like 27. That's unbelievably young for just a random, obscure. There was a guy who used to be in the Element Group who used the username ClearScore. And he said he went to school with Ben Shalom. Yeah, he said he went to school with him. And he said that Ben Shalom was all right in school. He was actually all right, but he was a bit of a weirdo. And he said Ben Shalom's dad was absolutely loaded. Now, the official story from Shalom is that he had humble beginnings or something. But based upon somebody who was a member of my Element Group that claims he went to school with Ben Shalom, he said, no, his dad was loaded. Yeah. I tend to suspect that, my guy was closer to the truth than the stuff that's coming out of Shalom. Oh, no, I come from humble beginnings and my parents never had no money. Not what I've heard. Yeah, this Sam Noakes fight here is just so dead. This is so dead. Sam Noakes versus what? Walsh? Who? Whenever I hear the surname Walsh, I always know I'm going to see something incredibly average. Yeah, whenever you hear the surname Walsh is just synonymous with a bog standard British boxer. Walsh. Mm-mm. Sam Noakes, Ryan Walsh. Ryan Walsh, Liam Walsh. That's a name that you definitely should not box with if you want to go anywhere in the sport. You're going to have to choose a ring name or change your name by deed poll to something else to give yourself any chance of going anywhere. Because Walsh ain't working. And based upon what I'm seeing in the ring with these two guys, yeah, Walsh ain't doing nothing either. I mean, as a fighter in the ring, never mind just his name. Wave says it's in the surname, Hatman. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Walsh. Mm-mm. That surname is synonymous with failure in professional boxing. It just sounds like some bricklayer. It doesn't sound like somebody who's a professional high-end athlete. Walsh. No. Kylie says Ben's got those slippery eyes. Yeah, he does. He's got mad slippery eyes, got like a darkness about him. Him and his friend, Savage Dan. Have you seen that Savage Dan guy? He looks so sinister to me, Savage Dan. And what does he do? Like, who is Savage Dan? Why is he even you know, Ben Shalom's right-hand man. That Savage Dan just looks mad sinister to me. Far too sinister, far more sinister than he should look, if that makes sense. He just looks so sinister. Let me look up now. Savage Dan. Who the hell is he? I always wondered and never found any information. See, I look him up here, and his eyes just look so shifty as hell. This Savage Dan guy. Mad shifty. Okay, he's been on Sky Sports, obviously through his Ben Shalom connection. But where is the background of this guy? Who is he? Who is he? Where did he come from? Because Ben Shalom has brought this guy along with him, this Savage Dan character, from out of obscurity. But I don't know who he is. Like, there's no Wikipedia page that I can see or anything. Who is this guy? You try to type in Savage Dan, Wikipedia, and it'll just show you Dan Savage. Some guy called Dan Savage, but Savage Dan, no. I've never been able to find any background on who this guy is. And I look only because, as I say, to me, he looks mad sinister. All right, let me dare to look at what's going on with Charr and this. Man, they're building this up like it's the undisputed fight of the century, this Charr versus Pulev thing. What a carry on. What a carry on. It's like the build up before the actual main event has been like an hour of talking absolute rubbish. There's no need for a fight of such low significance to be built up in the arena as much as this. Like, come on. It's amazing that Pulev is still popular in Bulgaria at this age after all the losses and a relatively disappointing career. And he still draws a big crowd. It's weird, actually. Yeah, I know Mike Tyson draws a big crowd, but Mike Tyson was undisputed heavyweight champion and so on. Pulev really hasn't done anything as a pro. Matt says no background on who he is, yet he's been rubbing shoulders with celebrities on Instagram going back years. Yeah, there's something not right about that guy. I'm telling you, that Savage Dan guy, there's something not right about him. This is like, I don't even want to speculate publicly because, you know, I'm not trying to catch lawsuits or anything, but, you know, if any kind of crazy story came out in the future or accusation, really crazy, like sinister accusation came out in the future about Savage Dan, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised because that guy just looks like a wrong to me, honestly. He's got a serious darkness about him in his eyes and his demeanor and everything. Kylie says he's mates with Chucky and Poet. Well, he's an industry guy. He was on Pound Sterling's Winners Talking podcast. So he's on the circuit. I don't know how close he is to these people though, really. Yeah, he knows them and he goes on their podcast, but I don't know, man. I think that guy moves in circles way above those kind of people. And Chucky and Poet, yeah, I can't watch that. I can't watch them guys. They're so corny. I can't watch them guys there. Jay Wood says, I think he's from Stonebridge. Well, there's been quite a few sinister people from Stonebridge over the years. That's for sure. K. Solly says, Chucky is like 5'2". Seen him in real life. It was crazy. Wow, he's 5'2"? It's like Tank Davis. Where's Tank Davis? Like 5'4", 5'5"? He's tiny. Ocean Blue says, I don't even know who Chucky and Poet are, to be honest. And nor do you need to. A pair of very generic guys who, I guess they attract normies to their podcast. And I don't know. Very dull guys. Very bland. Black Dynamite says, Specs Gonzalez is funny though. I'm not sure if I know him. All right, as this horrible Charr versus Pulev fight started, oh my God, yeah, they're hugging. I just switched over to the tab. First round, first 10 seconds, they're already in the clinch. The most interesting thing about Manuel Charr in his whole career wasn't even in the ring. It's when he got shot outside a kebab shop for confronting an internet troll. Because there was some internet troll who was like trolling him online and he was saying all kind of like really deep stuff, like proper personal stuff and like just horrible things. And Charr was like, okay, you wait till I see you. I'm a professional boxer. And I don't know who you are. And this guy was just trolling him and trolling him. And then the guy sent him his location. Yeah. This guy sent Charr his location and Charr turned up, or it was either Charr sent him the location or the guy sent Charr the location. In fact, it might have been Charr that sent the guy the location. And yeah, I think it was. Charr was in some kebab shop or something. Send the guy the location, come see me. And the guy turned up and shot him. You can't be doing all that kind of stuff, man. Just because you're a big, tough boxer. You don't know how many crazy people are out there. Genuinely mentally unhinged people that are willing to just turn up and shoot you for no reason. You got to, it's a tough adjustment, the internet. Because Charr, like myself, is from my generation, is a bit younger than me, but we're from a generation where there was no internet. So the only time you got an opportunity to talk smack about somebody, yeah, in terms of, talk to them and talk badly to them was face to face. Unless you spoke to them over the phone and then you would know you're going to have to see this person at some point. So people watched their words a lot more back in the days. Yeah. Like people just wouldn't speak to you a certain way unless they're actually willing to fight you, So people were a lot more respectful back then in that sense. But the internet has just opened the floodgates for people to say anything about anyone. And it's this kind of weird thing where you know nothing's going to happen. And so you just feel emboldened to just talk the most amount of smack about anyone. And people from my generation found that a very hard adjustment to make. When I first came on the internet and there were people in the comment section of videos and they're insulting me and all this, I wanted to fight him. Like, okay, let's meet up and fight, because I'm not used to this. I'm not used to somebody insulting me and then we don't get into a fight. That's just so weird in my generation, you know? You're not used to somebody disrespecting you that you don't have the opportunity to punch in the face. But yeah, at the end of the day, you don't know who's out there. Some weirdos are out there that have got nothing to lose. And some stupid internet beef is like their chance to make a name for themselves in their warped little mind, in their warped imagination. So that's what happened to Manuel Charr. That's the most interesting thing that happened in his career. Wasn't even in the ring, it was outside the ring. When some internet troll who'd been stalking him online and insulting him online and atting him, and you know, these weirdos who like follow boxers and just like insult them all the time. I don't know why people do that. I find it weird, you know. Yeah, I criticize fighters and troll fighters on my channel. I don't like at them and start following them and DMing them and like, what is that all about? I'm not going to start atting and messaging somebody who I blatantly cannot beat in a fight. I'm not going to do that. You know, if I'm atting somebody and messaging somebody, insulting them in messages, that means I'm willing to actually fight them. If I'm not willing to fight somebody, then yeah, I'm not going to be doing none of that. Johnny Mold says, did Charr have some of his intestine removed or something? He may have had. Because he's still got a big scar on his belly from the operation he had dealing with all that. All right, this is like horrendous. This Noakes fight, seems like it's never going to end. As does this Charr Pulev fight. This is awful, people. This is actually flipping awful. I can't watch this. I can't. This is torturous. This is actually torturous. Charles coming in here trying to sling some punches. Pulev is holding to high heaven. And Pulev bleeding from the mouth. I don't know what happened there. Did he even get punched or was it a head? Manuel Charr thinks he's like the toughest guy in the world. You know the way he talks in interviews about beating this guy and that guy, and he wants to fight Tyson Fury and this one and that one. So, 10 out of 10 for confidence, but it's, from my perspective, insane delusion. One, because he's never going to get those fights. I hope not, anyway. In fact, I think Tyson Fury was contemplating fighting Manuel Charr at one point, wasn't he? That whole year when Fury was saying, nobody wants to fight me, he was actually thinking about fighting Manuel Charr. Good God, man. That's why it's so important that Fury doesn't beat Usyk again, because that's what we've got ahead of us if Fury were to win the fight. Oh my gosh. If you think he was bad when he was just WBC champion, if he were to beat Usyk, oh my God. The amount of effery you would see after that, BS matchups he would have when he drops all the other belts and just keeps hold of the W. Oh no. If you thought he was bad before, he would really go to town with BS matchups if he were to beat Usyk. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. God, this Noakes fight is like a never-ending. Yeah, it's just never-ending. It's a 12-rounder. It might as well have been a 60-rounder. It feels like it's been going on forever. God, I wish this fight would end. So I've got that one on one tab, and on the other tab, it's the Manuel Charr Kubrat Pulev Hugfest. You know, Manuel Charr's always been a fiery character. I remember when he fought Vitaly Klitschko back in the days. He was really trying to take it to Klitschko. That fight got stopped in a cut. And Manuel Charr was bitterly disappointed, upset with the way the fight ended. So yeah, Charr's always had a very strong character. You know, he's always been a very aggressive, kind of alpha personality. As is Pulev, by the way. He's also a very alpha kind of guy, but Charr even more so. I remember when Charr fought Povetkin. Oh, he got horribly knocked out. Horribly knocked out. He also got horribly knocked out by Myris Bridis. You guys remember that? That uppercut, though. That sent Charr into the shadow realm. The uppercut from Myris Bridis. He got knocked out horribly. Boxing Media TV says Charr Pulev is the battle of the debt collectors. They blatantly look like debt collectors. That's a comment of the night. They actually look like debt collectors. I've literally seen debt collectors that look exactly like Manuel Charr. I'm talking about spitting image. JDM says, Hatman, how many days does Moses Atama have left to beat Mike Tyson's record? I don't know about days, but I think it's by May. I think he's got until May. Kay says, what makes an alpha character? Would you consider quieter but confident guys like Golovkin and Beterbiev alpha as opposed to Miller? Uh, I don't think Beterbiev is that quiet. Beterbiev is alpha to me. Golovkin doesn't come across with his public persona as being alpha, but you don't know what he's like away from the cameras because with Golovkin, it is a public persona. He's not really like that. Yeah, towards the end of Golovkin's career, when he parted ways with Abel Sanchez and he turned heel, that was the real Golovkin. Yeah, the good boy stuff and the smiling, that was an act in order to sell him to the American market, right? Because when you're a foreign fighter, you don't speak the language. You know, you're not Spanish or anything. You know, you don't speak Spanish either. You're going to need to really sell yourself. So that was all an act. So I don't know what Golovkin is like away from the camera in terms of, you know, how he interacts with other people. But yeah, Beterbiev is not quiet at all, really. Beterbiev is quite a talkative. I mean, maybe not in front of the press, but when you see him with his people and out and about and stuff like that, he comes across as an alpha character. He's not like a super bully type personality like Jarrell Miller, but he's definitely, you know, an alpha personality for sure. Ocean Blue says, especially with the leather jacket on, Mamo Charr, deck collector vibes. Big drama show is what it was. Big drama show. That's what Golovkin always used to say. Big drama show. You see, boxing media. Mamo Charr just looks like a guy who drives an old generation Range Rover and hangs out outside kebab shops in Edmonton with coffee and cigarette. Anyone who spent any time in North London knows why that's funny. That's crazy. My stream is gone. Dead. It's probably for the best. Probably for the best. Oh, my Charr Pulev stream is gone completely. Oh, it's disappeared. Even when I refresh it, it's not coming back. Again, probably for the best. Dear, oh dear, this is really dragging. Earlier on in the night, it was all right. You know, the first round knockouts were coming and things are looking okay. But since this Sam Noakes thing, oh God, even before that. And then you got Charr and Pulev. It's like pulling teeth. All right, I'm going to end this stream here, people. I may start a new stream for the Bentley fight, but I got a couple things to do in the next 20 minutes. So I might start a new stream for that fight, but I actually need to go and recover from boredom here, watching this awful boxing. Gonna refresh the Charr Pulev stream again. Yeah, that's not coming back up. So yeah, I may be back on in half an hour or so. If not, then I'll catch you on the next one. shout out to everybody who joined me here. And the live streams are intended to be much more regular now on this channel. So yeah, stay tuned. Big up everybody.